Berbagikan satu minggu sahaja lagi untuk kita mengakhiri tahun 2023, sudah tentu ramai yang sudah bersedia untuk masuk tahun baru ini dengan penuh harapan. Namun persoalannya sejauh mana pencapaian Malaysia tahun ini dan apa yang boleh dijangkakan untuk masa hadapan tahun 2024? Adakah ekonomi negara kita berjaya mengharungi cabaran semasa dan mencapai prestasi yang memberansangkan? Adakah kita akan menyaksikan peningkatan dalam pelbagai sektor ekonomi dan cabaran, atau sebaliknya apa lagi cabaran yang perlu kita atasi? Dalam konteks ini, ramalan dan analisis untuk tahun akan datang adalah kritikal untuk pelabur, peniaga dan juga rakyat Malaysia secara keseluruhan. Dan sudah bersedia untuk mengulas lebih lanjut bersama kita dalam talian adalah Ketua Ekonomi dan Kewangan Sosial Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad, Dr. Muhammad Azwan Nizam Abdul Rashid. Saya nak ucapkan terima kasih Doktor kerana sudi meluangkan masa bersama kami. Doktor, pertama sekali mungkin Doktor boleh kongsikan bagaimana untuk kita menilai iaitu pencapaian ataupun prestasi Malaysia dalam mengatasi cabaran ekonomi dalam negara dan juga daripada faktor-faktor luaran sepanjang tahun ini. Apa yang boleh kita nilai dan apa yang boleh kita katakan, Doktor? Silakan.
Okey, kalau kita lihat angka-angka yang telah kita saksikan pada tempoh 9 bulan yang pertama, ternyata memang ekonomi negara mengalami orang kata tu satu fasa pertumbuhan ekonomi yang agak perlahan, yang mana 9 bulan yang pertama KDNK negara bertumbuh pada kadar 3.9%, berbanding tahun lalu kalau kita tengok secara keseluruhan pertumbuhan ekonomi negara adalah 8.7%. Jadi boleh dikatakan isu-isu berkait rapat tentang kenaikan kadar faedah, isu-isu berkait rapat tentang ketidakpastian ekonomi global yang kita dapat saksikan melalui penguncupan dalam angka ekspor, dan juga isu-isu rakyatlah berkenaan dengan kos hidup dan sebagainya yang memberi kesan kepada sentimen para pengguna. Jadi saya kira situasi ekonomi negara pada tahun ini sememangnya mencabar. Namun meskipun mencabar, saya lihat kerajaan pada ketika ini masih lagi orang kata tu cuba mengekalkan mood untuk mereformasikan ekonomi, dan kita telah dapat saksikan beberapa dokumen penting telah pun dikongsi dan dikongsilah dari segi plan dan angka-angka yang bakal dicapai pada masa akan datang, seperti New Industry Master Plan, National Energy Transformation Roadmap dan sebagainya. Jadi maksud saya itu, walaupun ekonomi itu masih dalam mood yang agak bertumbuh dalam keadaan yang perlahan, namun selera untuk mereformasikan ekonomi itu jelas dizahirkan melalui dokumen yang telah pun dikongsi. Jadi bergerak ke hadapan, saya kira kalau tahun ini kita berbincang tentang plan, maka tahun depan adalah berkenaan dengan pelaksanaan. Tapi secara umumnya saya kira tahun ini memang sangat-sangat mencabar kerana kita menghadapi pelbagai permasalahan ekonomi global, terutamanya berkait rapat tentang kenaikan kadar faedah yang begitu tinggi di negara maju, selain itu kelembapan ekonomi negara China, dan situasi geopolitik yang boleh merubah orang kata tu sentimen pasaran modal ekonomi global lah. Jadi saya kira satu pencapaian yang saya kira agak orang kata tu decent lah, kerana kita masih lagi mampu untuk mengekalkan momentum pertumbuhan positif, dan pada masa yang sama kalau kita lihat dari segi pasaran pekerjaan pula, dia masih lagi orang kata tu berada dalam keadaan guna tenaga penuh, yang mana kita dapat lihat angka kadar pengangguran terus-menerus mencatatkan penurunan ke paras sekitar 3.3%. Jadi saya kira agak orang kata tu mencapai, tapi masih lagi mencapai prestasi yang boleh kita anggap baik pada ketika ini.
Seperti yang Doktor kongsikan bahawa iaitu prestasi ataupun situasi keadaan ekonomi negara pada tahun ini sangat mencabar, namun kita lihat ada antara aspek-aspek ekonomi yang mencapai prestasi yang memuaskan. Jadi kalau kita nak lihat bagaimana disebabkan antara punca utama yang Doktor kongsikan adalah disebabkan ketidaktentuan ekonomi dunia, ketegangan geopolitik yang masih berlangsung ini, bagaimana ini mengubah lanskap ekonomi negara untuk jangka masa panjang?
Saya kira ketidakpastian ekonomi global ni, impak utama yang saya nampak adalah dari segi sentimen di kalangan para pengguna, sentimen di kalangan para peniaga. kalau dari sudut bancian ataupun survey dari segi sentimen ini, kalau kita melihat angka seperti Purchasing Managers Index ya, terus menerus mencatatkan suatu angka yang di bawah 50 mata. Ini menunjukkan bahawa sentimen di kalangan para peniaga masih berada dalam keadaan yang pesimistik. Dan di sini saya kira penting untuk pihak kerajaan untuk menunjukkan suatu komitmen yang jitu untuk merencana perekonomian negara supaya ia akan lebih berdaya saing dan mengambil kira tentang trend yang sedang dialami buat masa sekarang ni. Contoh kalau kita lihat peralihan kepada tenaga boleh diperbarui ataupun renewable energy, suatu perkara yang kita perlu raikan. Bukan sahaja dia suatu, orang kata tu, boleh mewujudkan suatu peluang ekonomi, tapi dia sangat penting dari segi bagaimana kita mahu menyumbang dalam mengurangkan carbon emission, yang mana kita sedia maklum isu berkait rapat tentang malapetaka alam sekitar ni, kalau ianya berlaku dan ianya tidak diurus, maka kesan ataupun kosnya besar kepada negara. Jadi perkara itu telah pun dizahirkan melalui dokumen yang telah dibentang. Jadi saya kira kalau pihak kerajaan dapat menunjukkan suatu komitmen yang jelas, hala tuju yang jelas, dan diikuti pula dengan pelaksanaan yang orang kata tu nampak kesan ataupun outcome yang kita mahukan, saya kira situasi sentimen ini akan dapat kita perbaiki. Dan apabila sentimen ini dapat diperbaiki, maka kalau kita lihat di peringkat firma ataupun perniagaan, maka mereka akan mula yakin untuk melabur ataupun membuat satu, orang kata tu, perbelanjaan modal lah untuk meningkatkan keupayaan perniagaan mereka. Jadi peranan kerajaan sangat penting dalam buat masa ini, kerana situasi ekonomi luaran, ekonomi global terutamanya, saya kira itu adalah suatu perkara yang di luar kawal sebenarnya. Dan di sinilah peranan pihak kerajaan untuk menunjukkan komitmen yang jelas untuk merangsang ekonomi negara.
Bercakap mengenai peranan kerajaan yang perlu kita tekankan baru-baru ini, iaitu antara acara rombakan kabinet. Kita tahu Datuk Seri Amir Hamzah Azizan dilantik sebagai Menteri Kewangan 2 susulan rombakan kabinet. Beliau adalah bekas Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif CEO Kumpulan Wang Simpanan Pekerja KWSP. Jadi bergerak ke hadapan, bagaimana untuk kita melihat antara ahli teknokrat profesional ini dalam merintis perspektif baharu dalam mengurus dan pelaksanaan fiskal negara ini, Doktor?
Okey, kalau kita lihat dari segi keyakinan pelabur, dia agak bercampur-campur ya, Nina. Pertamanya, kalau kita melihat angka pelaburan asing yang masuk di negara kita ataupun approved investment tu, dia meningkat sekitar lebih 6% dalam tempoh 9 bulan yang pertama. Namun dari segi pelabur portfolio, dari segi pasaran saham, dari segi pasaran bond, dari segi keyakinan itu agak kurang. Kerana mereka ini, bila mereka melabur, of course dia orang punya horizon pelaburan tu agak pendek, dan isu berkait rapat tentang keyakinan pelabur tu sangat penting. Dan di sini saya rasa peranan perlantikan Menteri Kewangan yang baru daripada ataupun mantan Ketua Pegawai Eksekutif KWSP itu sangat, orang kata tu, menepati aspirasi bagaimana kerajaan cuba untuk meningkatkan keyakinan para pelabur portfolio terutamanya. Kerana saya percaya Datuk Seri Amir begitu memahami apa yang dimahukan oleh peserta para pelabur pasaran modal. Sebagai contoh, kalau kita lihat milikan asing dari dalam Malaysian Government Securities masih dalam keadaan yang rendah, iaitu sekitar 35% setakat bulan November. Namun kalau kita lihat angka ini berbanding tahun 2016, dia berlega sekitar 51%. Jadi dari sudut keyakinan para pelabur dalam sektor ataupun industri fixed income ni, terdapat, orang kata tu, kegusaran tentang bagaimana kerajaan mentadbir dasar fiskal mereka. Dan kerajaan ataupun parlimen telah pun meluluskan rang undang-undang berkait rapat tentang Public Finance dan Fiscal Responsibility Act. Dan saya percaya dengan pelantikan Datuk Seri Amir ini, maka akta ini akan dapat dilaksanakan dengan secara efektif dan menghasilkan ataupun mencapai sasaran yang telah termaktub dalam akta tersebut. Dan sekaligus, orang kata tu, dapat, orang kata tu, mengembalikan keyakinan para pelabur portfolio yang sentiasa melihat peluang bagaimana mereka mahu masuk dan melabur di negara kita ini.
Bercakap mengenai dasar fiskal, sudah tentu kita nak lihat juga kepada iaitu sektor ataupun lanskap kewangan negara, di mana kalau kita mahu lihat sepanjang tahun ini bagaimanakah analisis mengenai prestasi ringgit terutamanya untuk tahun ini, apakah antara faktor-faktor yang dianggap berperanan penting dalam penutuan nilai ringgit?
Kalau kita, berdasarkan kajian saya, memang kalau kita lihat pergerakan nilai ringgit ini berbanding US dollar, memang sumbangan oleh dolar Amerika Syarikat itu sangat-sangat prominent lah. Namun sumbangan US dollar Amerika Syarikat ni adalah di luar kawalan kita, dan peringkat seterusnya saya melihat ada beberapa faktor yang boleh mempengaruhi mata wang ringgit kita. Antaranya seperti saya sebutkan tadi, penyertaan para pelabur asing portfolio di dalam negara kita, baik di peringkat equity, baik di peringkat orang kata tu pasaran bond. Jadi maksudnya di sini apabila terdapat satu hubung kait yang langsung, bermaksud mengurus keyakinan para pelabur portfolio juga penting dalam aspek pengurusan nilai mata wang ringgit, kerana mereka ini akan melihat, seperti saya sebutkan tadi, menilai apakah peluang yang ada di Malaysia. Kalau mereka dapati terdapat peluang yang bagus dan komitmen yang jelas dari segi konsolidasi fiskal dan sebagainya, sudah pasti mereka akan masuk dan membeli aset-aset di Malaysia ini, dan apabila berlaku transaksi tersebut, maka nilai ringgit itu akan dapat dinaikkan akibat daripada permintaan daripada para pelabur asing. Jadi di sini saya rasa peranan menunjukkan komitmen untuk memperbaiki kedudukan kewangan dan seterusnya mendapat kesan orang kata tu result yang jelas, seperti dapatnya orang kata tu mengurangkan dasar defisit fiskal tersebut, maka saya kira nilai ringgit itu dapat diperbaiki. Itu dari segi pelaburan portfolio lah. Namun ada berbagai lagi aspek yang perlu dilihat jugalah, Nina, dari segi macam mana kita nak memperbaiki mata wang ringgit ini.
Baik, itu adalah antara aspek atau tumpuan yang perlu kita beri perhatian juga bergerak ke hadapan, walaupun situasi negara boleh dikatakan mencabar, dan namun kita dapat saksikan banyak, iaitu antara sorotan ataupun pencapaian ekonomi menunjukkan peningkatan momentum yang positif dengan kadar pengangguran yang menurun, kadar tenaga kerja meningkat, terutama juga dengan kadar OPR kita pun sudah menurun dan kekal pada peratusan yang ditetapkan, termasuk juga dengan kadar inflasi kita, Doktor. Jadi untuk kita lihat mengenai kadar inflasi kita ini adalah antara perkara penting apabila kita bercakap mengenai ekonomi negara, dan tahun hadapan beberapa langkah subsidi bersasar akan dilaksanakan kerajaan, malah projek rintis gaji progresif juga akan dilaksanakan. Jadi adakah ini dilihat akan memberi pengaruh ataupun kita boleh cakap impak yang besar kepada kadar inflasi kita?
Ini amat bergantung kepada kuantum pelarasan di dalam subsidi tersebut. Saya percaya sebarang bentuk pelarasan dalam subsidi minyak terutamanya akan berlaku dalam keadaan yang beransur-ansur. Tapi dari segi impaknya memang sangat signifikan lah. Contoh, kalau kita melihat sumbangan ataupun pemberat minyak ataupun minyak petrol di dalam basket ataupun bakul indeks harga pengguna sebenarnya besar, iaitu sekitar secara keseluruhan dalam sekitar 14%. Tapi kalau minyak sahaja, tak salah saya, kalau RON 95 tu dalam sekitar 7.5%. Jadi sebarang bentuk perubahan dalam RON 95 memang akan ada kesannya kepada inflasi. Namun di sinilah peranan komunikasi kerajaan itu perlu diperkasakan, kerana sebarang bentuk perubahan akan ada timbal baliknya, akan ada apa yang dikatakan sebagai trade off ataupun kesan sampingan yang perlu kita hadapi bersama. Kalau tidak, macam mana kerajaan memperbaikikan keuangan mereka pada masa sama untuk mengekalkan harga minyak itu rendah sahaja. Itu suatu expectation ataupun jangkaan yang tidak realistik lah. Jadi maksud saya tadi, pihak kerajaan perlu orang kata tu bijak dalam merencana bagaimana mereka mahu menyalurkan maklumat kepada rakyat tentang kenapa langkah ini dilaksanakan dan apakah kesan yang bakal kita alami, dan apakah langkah kerajaan dalam meminimalkan kesan kepada rakyat akibat dari perubahan dasar tersebut. Telah disebutkan dalam belanjawan negara baru-baru ini bahawa peruntukan sumbangan tunai rahmah akan dinaikkan daripada 8 bilion kepada 10 bilion. Itu sebenarnya merupakan langkah kerajaan untuk meminimalkan kesan kepada rakyat sekiranya berlaku orang kata tu perubahan dalam subsidi tersebut. Jadi aspek komunikasi saya percaya perlu diperbaiki supaya terdapatnya suatu bentuk sokongan atau pembain kepada seluruh peringkat masyarakat di Malaysia ini.
Baik, itulah antara aspek yang kita boleh teliti daripada segi inflasi juga. Kita mahu lihat juga daripada segi prestasi pasaran saham kita, Doktor. Untuk kita lihat apakah antara faktor-faktor yang mungkin akan mewarnai pasaran saham pada tahun 2024 ini. Bagaimana, Doktor?
Okey, kalau kita melihat penilaian dalam FBM KLCI, sebenarnya penilaian atau valuation FBM KLCI ini berada dalam keadaan yang murah ataupun kalau kita kaji dari segi price to earning ratio tu, PE ratio tu sangat-sangat rendah, iaitu sekitar 15 kali ataupun 15 times, berbanding kalau purata sekitar 17 kali lah ataupun 17 times. Ini bererti nilainya tu rendah ataupun mempunyai suatu potensi untuk naik. Berdasarkan saya punya jangkaan, kalau katakanlah PE ratio ni dapat ditingkatkan kepada 17 kali ataupun 17 times, indeks FBM KLCI boleh mencecah sekitar 1,650 mata pada tahun hadapan lah sekiranya itu berlaku. So maksudnya potensi untuk KLCI untuk naik itu memang ada kerana potensi-potensi syarikat yang tersenarai untuk mencatatkan suatu bentuk keuntungan yang baik juga masih lagi jelas. Contoh kalau kita melihat sektor-sektor berkait rapat tentang teknologi, saya kira teknologi ni banyak orang kata tu pengaruhnya kepada ekonomi negara, dan jangkaan jualan semikonduktor di peringkat global juga dijangka akan naik 2 digit pada tahun hadapan. Dan sudah pasti sektor berkait rapat tentang teknologi juga akan memberi kesan, dan juga sektor berkait rapat tentang pembinaan yang mana pihak kerajaan telah pun memperuntukkan suatu perbelanjaan pembangunan yang besar, itu sekitar 90 bilion, sudah pasti akan ada kesan rantaian kepada sektor tersebut. Selain itu juga sektor-sektor berkait rapat tentang tenaga boleh perbaharui dan sebagainya. Jadi potensi untuk indeks KLCI untuk naik lebih tinggi lagi pada tahun hadapan sebenarnya. Tapi seperti saya katakan tadilah, bagaimana kerajaan untuk meletakkan naratif yang akan orang kata mewujudkan suatu keyakinan, mewujudkan suatu minat bilion, itu juga penting supaya para pelabur asing nampak akan potensi itu akan dapat direalisasikan pada tahun 2024 nanti.
Jadi apakah antara aspek ataupun iaitu tumpuan utama yang perlu kita beri selain sektor-sektor untuk sektor untuk kita teliti ni, antara sektor yang perlu diberi perhatian oleh pelabur untuk tahun 2024 selain daripada sektor-sektor yang telah dikongsikan oleh doktor sebentar tadi?
Selain pada sektor yang saya sebutkan tadi tu, saya kira berkait rapat tentang saya nampak sektor sarung tangan getah juga mempunyai suatu potensi juga sebenarnya, Nina. Kerana tempoh 2 tahun, 3 tahun yang lepas ni sebenarnya banyak kapasiti pengeluaran yang telah terbazir lah, dan ini menyebabkan terdapatnya suatu lambakan inventory sarung tangan getah di pasaran. Namun keadaan itu telah pun beransur pulih, dan ini akan kata tu mula mencapai suatu bentuk yang dapat dinormaliskan, dan banyak peserta pasaran dalam sarung tangan getah ini telah pun mengautomasikan operasi mereka. Sudah pasti mereka akan mencapai suatu bentuk kecekapan dalam operasi mereka. Jadi potensi untuk syarikat-syarikat berkait rapat tentang sarung tangan getah juga saya nampak berupaya dalam menarik perhatian para pelabur pada masa akan datang. Jadi mungkin sarung tangan getah adalah satu sektor yang juga boleh orang kata tu menjadi suatu consideration di kalangan pelabur asing nanti.
Siapakah keempat Most Wanted 2023? Anda yang akan menentukannya.
Layari www.gempakmostwantedawards.com sekarang untuk mengundi.
Keempat Most Wanted Awards terpaling trending.
Melihat kepada faktor luaran yang doktor kongsikan pada awal ni, antara faktor utama yang kita boleh cakap beri impak kepada ekonomi negara. Jadi melihat kepada faktor luaran ketika ini, faktor semasa, ekonomi China dijangka tumbuh lebih sederhana, dan banyak iaitu unjuran daripada Badan Dunia menyatakan iaitu ekonomi Amerika Syarikat akan mengalami kemelisitan. Jadi apa persediaan yang perlu dilakukan oleh Malaysia?
Di sini peranan, contoh kalau kita lihat pihak Bank Negara Malaysia telah pun menaikkan OPR daripada 1.75% ke paras 3%. Jadi saya kira itu satu tindakan, antara tindakan yang positif yang diambil oleh pihak negara sebelum ini, kerana tindakan tersebut selain untuk memperbaiki situasi berkait rapat tentang inflasi, selain itu juga ia maksudnya dia membina ruang dasar monetary bagi pihak negara untuk bertindak pada masa akan datang. Jadi kebiasaannya dasar monetary ini dianggap sebagai first line of defense lah, dan sekiranya berlakulah kelembapan ekonomi di Amerika Syarikat sehingga membawa ke paras kemelesan dan sebagainya, dan kesan ekonomi Amerika Syarikat itu mula dirasai secara signifikan di negara kita, saya percaya pihak negara akan mengambil langkah untuk memastikan ekonomi itu dapat dibantu melalui pengurangan OPR sekiranya terdapat keperluan untuk berbuat demikian. Jadi itu antara perkara yang boleh dilaksanakan. Selain pada itu, dari segi dasar fiskal ni saya nampak agak ada terdapat sedikit kekangan, tapi kalau kita lihat unjuran yang dibuat iaitu dasar fiskal ataupun fiskal defisit pada tahun hadapan sekitar 4.3%, maksudnya secara umumnya dasar fiskal itu masih lagi dalam jajaran expansionary fiscal policy. So maksudnya perbelanjaan itu akan membantu dalam menyumbang pertumbuhan ekonomi negara pada tahun hadapan.
Baik, kalau daripada segi ekspor dan import, kalau kita teliti Doktor, iaitu ekspor kita tidak memberangsangkan iaitu pada tahun ini. Jadi apakah antara langkah-langkah ataupun kita boleh cakap kerjasama di peringkat antarabangsa yang boleh kita lakukan untuk memperkasakan lagi iaitu perdagangan luar negeri?
Yalah, isu berkaitan rapat tentang ekspor ni kalau tahun ini saya kira selain daripada kelembapan ekonomi negara itu juga ataupun ekonomi global, faktor base yang tinggi pada tahun 2022 juga memainkan peranan. Jadi bergerak ke hadapan, apa yang perlu dilakukan, saya kira mungkin ialah dari segi macam mana bilateral trade tu ataupun free trade agreement tu mungkin dapat diperkasakan lagi, dapat digalakkan lagi supaya akan banyak lagi hubungan dua hala yang lebih rapat di kalangan negara serantau untuk mewujudkan suatu permintaan yang orang kata tu lebih sihat lagi lah. Dan kita sedia maklum juga beberapa orang kata tu pelabur asing mula ataupun dari segi FDI mula mencari-cari untuk melabur di negara kita, juga itu boleh membantu dalam meningkatkan perdagangan antarabangsa pada akan datang. Jadi saya kira menjalinkan hubungan yang baik di peringkat negara serantau merupakan strategi yang perlu disentiasa dilaksanakan supaya aliran perdagangan antarabangsa itu dapat diteruskan dalam keadaan yang sihat meskipun ekonomi global menghadapi masalah dari segi kemungkinan seperti kemelesan ekonomi global di Amerika Syarikat dan China dan sebagainya.
Doktor, kalau kita tahu juga bercakap mengenai iaitu pertumbuhan ekonomi Malaysia yang diunjurkan oleh Merentas untuk berkembang 4.5% hingga 5.5% pada 2024. Adakah ia mampu tercapai dan apakah faktor-faktor yang mendorong kepada ramalan ini?
Saya melihat dua enjin pertumbuhan ini akan main peranan utamalah, iaitu permintaan domestik dan juga permintaan luaran. Namun permintaan domestik merupakan enjin yang lebih prominent dalam menyumbang kepada pertumbuhan ekonomi negara, terutamanya dari sudut perbelanjaan kerajaan lah. Dari segi perbelanjaan di kalangan pengguna, saya rasa masih lagi dalam keadaan yang sihat, namun trendnya lebih orang kata tu ataupun moodnya lebih berhati-hati disebabkan kegusaran terhadap isu berkait rapat tentang kos sara hidup dan juga keperluan untuk orang kata tu mungkin melihat semula balik belanjawan peribadi mereka, dan ini akan orang kata tu memberi kesan kepada momentum pertumbuhan ekonomi pada tahun hadapan. Jadi di sini peranan kerajaan sangat-sangat penting untuk mewujudkan suatu bentuk keyakinan kepada di peringkat isi rumah dan juga di peringkat perniagaan, dan di segi faktor luaran pula, sektor-sektor utama seperti berkait rapat tentang semikonduktor saya kira dilihat berpotensi untuk menerajui pertumbuhan yang lebih positif disebabkan jangkaan yang lebih positif pada tahun depan berkenaan dengan jualan di peringkat global ataupun global semiconduktor sales yang dijangka akan mencatat ke paras 13% pada tahun hadapan berbanding unjuran sebelum ini ada 11%. Itu suatu unjuran yang saya kira boleh memberi manfaat kepada sektor ekspor di negara kita.
Doktor, kalau kita lihat iaitu antara laporan daripada DOSM iaitu tabungan negara kasar TNK mencatat peningkatan 19.1% tahun ke tahun kepada RM402.6 bilion pada tahun 2021 berbanding RM337.9 bilion pada tahun sebelumnya. Dan menurut Ketua Perangkawan Datuk Seri Muhammad Uzair Mahidin berkata dari segi institusi sektor perbadanan bukan kewangan mencatatkan tabungan kasar tertinggi dengan RM283.3 bilion atau bahagian 70.4%. Jadi bagaimana pandangan doktor mengenai perkara ini?
Okey, angka simpanan ataupun tabungan ini menunjukkan ekonomi negara mempunyai suatu bentuk kecairan yang tinggi. Dan kecairan ini amat penting untuk menjana pertumbuhan ekonomi negara. Dan di sini peranan pasaran modal dan juga pasaran ataupun institusi perbankan untuk menyalurkan tabungan tersebut untuk dijanakan dalam bentuk kata yang lebih produktif melalui aktiviti perniagaan lah. Jadi angka tersebut melambangkan bahawa ekonomi negara mempunyai sumber yang cukup, melebihi mencukupi untuk kata tu menampung aktiviti ekonomi yang boleh dilangsungkan. Jadi di sinilah seperti saya sebutkan pada awal tadi, peranan kerajaan untuk mewujudkan suatu bentuk keyakinan dalam sektor perniagaan, dan bila ada wujud kata tu keyakinan dan juga naratif pembangunan yang lebih jelas, maka dia akan merancakkan permintaan terhadap untuk kata tu pelaburan. Dan di sini mungkin akan berlakulah kata tu pertumbuhan dalam pinjaman, permintaan untuk menerbitkan IPO, penerbitan sukuk, penerbitan bond, yang mana tabungan tersebut akan disalurkan kepada sektor perniagaan untuk mereka menjalankan perniagaan dan sekaligus akan mewujudkan suatu bentuk aktiviti ekonomi yang lebih aktif dan akan menjana orang kata tu laba kepada ekonomi dari segi orang kata tu pewujudan pekerjaan dan income ataupun pendapatan bagi rakyat. Dan di sinilah maksudnya angka tabungan tersebut menunjukkan sumber ataupun potensi negara untuk bertumbuh lebih baik sememangnya memang ada dengan berdasarkan angka yang telah disebutkan tadi.
Okey, baik Doktor, baru-baru ini Perdana Menteri Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim berkata Malaysia yang sebelum ini hanya menjadikan Jepun dan Korea Selatan sebagai contoh model pembangunan ekonomi, kini turut berminat untuk belajar dari China. Jadi apa yang kita boleh cakap kriteria-kriteria yang boleh diterapkan dalam acuan untuk ekonomi Malaysia?
Kita sedia maklum bahawa ekonomi China merupakan sebuah ekonomi yang besar dan mempunyai kata tu kuasa dalam menentukan hala tuju ekonomi global, dan pasaran dalaman mereka juga besar, dan tingkat teknologi mereka juga agak tinggi dan telah terbukti dalam sektor seperti komunikasi dan juga teknologi lah, yang mana kalau kita dapat orang kata tu bekerjasama dengan mereka, sudah pasti kita mungkin akan dapat manfaat dari sudut perpindahan teknologi. Jadi saya percaya sebarang bentuk usaha sama, sebarang bentuk kerjasama yang bakal dilaksanakan, ia perlu dilaksanakan dalam kerangka yang mana ia akan memanfaatkan kedua-dua belah pihak. Dan di peringkat semasa ini, saya melihat terdapatnya trend ataupun kita panggil dia geo-economic fragmentation, maksudnya ekonomi itu mula berpecah seperti yang disebut oleh pihak IMF sendiri ya. Jadi sebenarnya perkara ini agak negatif, dan kalau katakanlah dapat dikekang dan memperbanyakkan lagi kerjasama yang boleh menggalakkan lagi aktiviti globalisation, sudah pasti ia akan memberi banyak manfaat kepada ekonomi di serantau termasuk Malaysia juga. Namun saya percaya tumpuan patut diberi kepada bagaimana hubungan tersebut akan memanfaatkan kedua pihak, terutamanya dari segi pembinaan kapasiti di kalangan rakyat Malaysia, terutamanya bagaimana sektor seperti MSME dapat diintegrasikan dalam ekonomi global dan dapat orang kata itu meningkatkan aktiviti nilai tambah dalam perniagaan mereka. Jadi saya percaya strategi untuk mempelbagaikan partner ataupun rakan kongsi, saya percaya itu adalah satu keputusan yang tepat untuk dilaksanakan.
Baik doktor, kita tahu untuk masuk tahun 2024 untuk kita anggarkan sepanjang tahun ramalan untuk tahun 2024 mungkin masih dikatakan terlalu awal ataupun masih terlalu sedikit untuk kita kupas lebih mendalam mengenai tahun hadapan. Jadi mungkin doktor boleh kongsikan sedikit pada awal mungkin suku pertama 2024 mengambil kira antara cabaran yang akan dihadapi Malaysia dan bagaimanakah Malaysia menjagakan pertumbuhan yang dapat kita lakukan untuk suku pertama 2024.
Suku pertama saya percaya kalau di peringkat global ni para pasaran akan memantau keputusan oleh pihak Federal Reserve yang mana pada bulan Januari ini mula orang kata tu bermesyuarat untuk menentukan kadar faedah mereka. Jadi para peserta pasaran akan mula melihat apakah naratif yang cuba dibawa pada tahun hadapan, adakah masih lagi mengekang mood untuk mengubah arah kepada untuk mengurangkan kadar faedah. Jadi ini yang akan dipantau kerana ini akan menentukan hala tuju pergerakan pasaran modal lah. Kedua yang sudah pasti adalah bagaimana pihak kerajaan melaksanakan reformasi ekonomi, terutamanya berkait rapat tentang subsidi minyak, diesel dan juga diesel lah yang terutamanya, bagaimana ianya dilaksanakan, apakah kesan yang bakal kita hadapi akibat dari perubahan tersebut. Jadi ini merupakan dua perkara saya melihat yang agak penting yang mungkin akan mencorak bagaimana ekonomi pada suku pertama akan bergerak nanti.
Sudah tentu harapan dan jangkaan yang tinggi bergerak ke hadapan apabila kita bercakap mengenai aspek ekonomi kita. Namun banyak perkara ataupun aspek yang perlu kita pantau dan teliti agar setiap perancangan dan pelaksanaan untuk membangunkan bangunan ekonomi negara dapat dicapai. Sekali lagi saya nak ucapkan terima kasih kepada Dr. Muhammad Afzal Abdul Rashid merupakan Ketua Ekonomi dan Kewangan Sosial Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad, dan semua perkongsian ini akan kami rangkumkan dalam astrowani.com dan semua platform digital Astro Awani.
Daulat Tuanku.
Alright, untuk berbincang lanjut tentang perkara ini, sudah sedia bersama saya dalam talian ialah Nur Azri Abdul Aziz, Acquisition Lead TikTok Shop Malaysia. Good morning, Azri.
Good morning. Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Alright, firstly, can you share the specific examples of how TikTok Shop Malaysia has helped to improve and also significantly supported local MSMEs throughout this TikTok Shop mall and also the resulting impact on their growth and visibility in the market for now?
Thank you for the question. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you to all of the community at TikTok, from the buyers and the supporters that had made all of the great success of the MSMEs possible today. So for us at TikTok Shop, we've always given our best commitment and dedication in supporting sellers right from the moment that they have been onboarded. So for example, for new sellers, to drive the competition spirit, we do give them seller missions, such as for them to complete certain tasks of short videos and live stream. And from there, we reward them with incentives to further amplify the results in their live performance and also the conversion of their sales. Now, to go even a step further, we encourage these brands and local sellers to participate in our online mega campaigns, such as previously we had the 11/11 Mega Showdown, we had the Raya campaigns, where the brands not only get traffic pushes, but the buyers get to enjoy robust promotion vouchers. And this, of course, gave a positive impact to the buyers. For example, we would like to highlight Masdora that gained 13,900 new followers by just participating in TikTok Shop's Brand Day in February. And after that, when they participate in Happy Big Day 66 campaign this year, they garnered an impressive increase of 185% of its initial targets. Another testimonial that we have is that besides online campaigns, we also support MSMEs in their offline activations by working with government agencies, trade associations, and community leaders out there. For example, recently, MDEC under the 100 Go Digital program, after going through several states such as Johor and Penang and collaborated with associations, they have awarded TikTok Shop as one of the outstanding partner for the 100 Go Digital program for 2023.
All right, I was understood that this new feature provides Malaysian shoppers with access to a curated selection of over 600, not just local, but also international brands with some notable ones. So what are some of the criteria to be, especially for the SMEs, to have that flagship or mall on their brands, especially on TikTok Shop?
Right. Understand. So there are some selection of criteria which is made available through our academy, but some of it is that sellers need to ensure that they have maintained a positive scoring in terms of their services in the past. So that's one of the criteria that we look at, which is what we define as shop health. Other than that, we look at the reviews that the customers had given them in the past. They also have to have a brand authorization for us to make sure that they are the main trademark owner for that particular brand. So for all of these criteria, there is some selection process that they need to go through. After that, our internal team will vet through the process, and if it's approved, then they will get their flagship stores.
What are some of the exclusive benefits from the shoppers and also the consumers that they can get from having this certified authentic and original products by having this label mall on their TikTok Shop?
So by having this label, first and foremost, I think it builds really strong brand trust, especially among local sellers, and they get better visibility as well. And it is an additional channel for their revenue. So for all of the buyers, they can get special discounts, especially when we have a brand day. And there are certain labels and stickers that the flagship stores get to feature when they're part of this campaign.
Speaking of strategies, how does or what innovative strategies has TikTok Shop Malaysia implemented when it comes to particularly for user experience and relatedly to with the seller engagement when it comes between two?
Right. So as we all know, TikTok is a platform that inspires creativity. So in that front, we've always led the innovative strategies. So what we've built is a platform that combines and integrates community of buyers, creators, and sellers, creating an immersive shopping experience for our users. Now, while we watch videos, content, and live stream and being entertained based on our interest, we now get to decide whether we want to purchase something in order to solve certain challenges in our daily lives. And this is what we know as the yellow shopping bag, which is the component of TikTok Shop. And this is where we use recommendations based on interest and combine entertainment with the shopping experience, what we refer as shoppertainment.
As the ever-evolving of digitalization, we also see that the advancement or the differences in evolving of consumer behaviors. So in what ways does TikTok Shop adapt to the changes of consumer behaviors, and how has this flexibility benefited the platform and its stakeholders?
So if we look back at the past trends, nowadays the generation of consumers are very well versed over the things that they want to consume. They want to connect with the brand. They want to know who's behind the brand. They want to have an emotional connection and be educated. So in that sense, we have provided a platform that is driven by community to the community. So when people purchase something, it's no longer just about the product features, and it's no longer just about the price, but they believe in the value of the product and also the brand. In that sense, we drive the consumer behavior based on their interests, on things that they care about, on things that can bring value to their life. From there, we built a positive community that also supports the ecosystem of the local sellers and the local brands, because they get to introduce different cultures, different products into our daily lives.
So with the introduction of TikTok Shop Mall, the new feature from TikTok itself, how is it different when it comes to the difference on not just consumer behavior, but also the seller engagement before and after the introduction of TikTok Shop Mall itself?
Right. So the word mall itself could, like what I emphasized previously, improve the market visibility and the trust in the market. When we talk about social commerce, there's always a discussion about whether a brand can be trusted or not. Now, with the flagship stores, buyers do not need to be so concerned about whether the product is genuine or not. So we predict that this will increase the conversion of sales for the local brands and the local products as well. And then we can create a better selection of curated products based on our recommendation system to the buyers, which allows them to have a higher satisfaction and a more positive overall experience.
Nice, nice. But just to fit my curiosity, does this will affect the small or maybe perhaps the micro sellers on TikTok Shop when some sellers have this flagged or a certified mall tag on their TikTok Shop?
Yes. So thank you for the question. On our side, our aim is to help the boutique and smaller brands to reach to the level that they can get the flagship store. In fact, we have created a lot of success stories about independent brands from Imaji Store, from Book Cafe, Mr. Bentong, who achieve remarkable success by growing on the platform. And from their level of success, these brands can grow from a point of zero to hero in just a matter of few months. And that is where they can gain visibility. Now, the flagship store is not just meant to be for big brands. It's meant to be for brands that put in the commitment and able to deliver best services to the merchants. So even local brands especially is what we want to focus on. For example, this year we have introduced a localized campaign called Jom Local that highlights specifically local brands. Now, some of these local brands are also featured in TikTok Shop Mall.
It's an interesting topic to discuss on, and indeed we have a lot more to talk about, but after this we're going to go for a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to AWANI. We're on a discussion with a TikTok Shop where we're going to talk about the new feature that they introduced, which is TikTok Shop Mall. All right, Azri, how does TikTok Shop extend its support to sellers in especially in rural areas and collaborate with and not just GLCs and also NGOs to facilitate their business growth and within their platform? What do you think about that?
Thank you so much. Over the past year, we have worked really, really closely with lots of government agencies, trade association, and even exhibition partners. Some notable mention is that this month, as previously mentioned, we launched Jom Local campaign to highlight specifically local brands made in Malaysia products. And we work alongside agencies such as MDAC, MCMC, PUNB, and also MARA to feature these local brands and also the sellers behind these brands. Besides that, in 2 days' time, we will be organizing a CSR Community Day called Hari Dialogue Bersama Usahawan Micro 2023 with the collaboration of Yayasan Wilayah Persekutuan in order to empower 30 micro entrepreneurs under the B40 group to start going digital and selling on TikTok Shop. we believe that we create equal space for all brands, no matter big or small, to have the same access to opportunities to succeed. So this year, we will, in 2024, we will continue working alongside different ministries, and we hope to create a big impact alongside the government as well. So just for your information, this year, when we concluded the DE Dagang program with MDEC, we had benefited more than 20,000 sellers, and co-funded a few millions into helping local sellers grow as well, particularly in tourism and craft, halal and agriculture, as well as made in Malaysia products. And we hope to see this scale up in 2024.
Azri, correct me if I'm wrong, but the introduction or the launch of TikTok Shop Mall has been about less than a month, right? All right. How has it been so far with the support of all these GLCs and also NGOs?
Okay, so it has been really, really great. When we started the mall itself, some of our programs with the government agencies has been ongoing. So some of the brands are also listed in the mall. We have seen some uplift of live stream sales from these local brands as well.
All right. Speaking of which, moving forward, could you discuss any upcoming initiatives or projects at TikTok Shop itself and the aim to further empower not just MSMEs, but benefit the local business community?
Understand. So in 2024, we really look forward to work in developing the ecosystem for local sellers by collaborating closely with Ministry of Domestic Trade, Ministry of Rural Development, and also Ministry of Digital, by working alongside certain government agencies, such as this year with UNB under the Prime Minister's Office. We worked closely with 50 local brands where we co-funded incentives with the aim to grow their live stream sales. And in around 90 days from the program, these brands had seen a 200% of uplift in their live stream sales. So this project will continue into its second and third cohort. We also have the plans of developing 12 digital hubs in 12 different paddies across 6 regions in Malaysia in collaboration with MCMC. We also have ongoing development plans for entrepreneurs in Sabah and Sarawak. In Sarawak, we work closely with SDEC under the Sarawak State Government. And in Sabah, we work closely with MID, DIDR, and also Celcom Timor in developing the internet facility to enable more sellers to go live stream on the spot with the rural products. And this will be intertwined with some of our cultural-based campaign, such as we will emphasize on Hari Gawai and Hari Keamatan campaign as well. So that is for the East Malaysia. We definitely look into developing more concrete developmental plans that we had started this year, but next year it's just going to be bigger, bolder, and better for all of the sellers throughout East and also West Malaysia.
All right. Earlier I mentioned there was 600 local international brands under this TikTok Shop Mall feature. How do you vision or envision when it comes to, we're reaching 2024, right? So how do you imagine that when it comes to the figure or numbers that will join the TikTok Shop Mall specifically?
With the positive growth of the current ecosystem that we have, we believe that every brand will have its unique strength and also different channels of development. So it typically depends on the brand strategy, but in terms of the numbers, we believe that it will grow stronger and better. And we hope that these will provide a better platform for the local brands to step up another level and compete alongside in the international arena and help the national economy better. So we definitely believe that some brands will grow much stronger from this new avenue, and from time to time we keep on developing our product to make sure that we can equip the market better, such as we have improved over the last few months on our payment facilities as well. Previously we did not have buy now pay later, and now we have Atomi as one of the payment partners, and this allows people to pay in installments and help them to buy more things and things that of a higher basket order value. And this is an attraction for sellers to join, because now they can sell things that are more profitable, things that are more sustainable for them in the long run.
All right, so this launch is undeniably a good movement actually from TikTok Shop. And earlier you mentioned there was a lot of success stories that came after the launch itself. But maybe you can share maybe one or two at least success stories that you find the most inspiring and impactful, that maybe help to inspire all the, not just MSMEs, but all the local sellers when it comes to their entrepreneurship journey.
Right, TikTok Shop, definitely. We're very proud of our entrepreneurs because we do see them grow from, one level to maybe 10 times higher of a level. So some of it includes what I mentioned earlier, which is Mr. Bentong. That's so just a unique product by agricultural product. So it is a type of a drink that came from ginger, and in the first 6 months he was able to sell 500,000 bottles in TikTok Shop itself. And then we have Imaji, which in the last 2 years was able to garner 200,000 monthly visitors, in which 20,000 of them converted into paid customers. But of course, among all of these, the most anticipated brand was also awarded at the TikTok Shop Malaysia Summit 2023 with the Inspirational Icon Award, which is our local entrepreneur, Khairul Ami. What's interesting is that he did credit our platform as the platform that helped to surge the sales of his sambal bottles from 3,000 bottles daily to 7,000 bottles daily when he started to join us January this year. We really hope this type of stories and our dedication and commitment in providing resources, developing the ecosystem with local stakeholders, continue to empower local businesses, both big and small, micro, urban, and also rural, to continue having growth and success on our platform. And we're very happy to give every single type of support. And this year, we really want to encourage everybody to come and support our Jom Local campaign, because we are featuring more of our local heroes with the hashtag TikTok Shop Local Heroes.
When you mentioned Khairul Amin just now, is definitely a very strong example to all the local SMEs out there to join TikTok Shop. But we're reaching the end of our discussion. But before that, perhaps you want to take this opportunity to tell all the local sellers, perhaps the potential local sellers out there, what are the do's and don'ts when it comes to selling their products on live?
Okay, that's such a great question, and I'm so glad that we're coming to this discussion. First of all, I'd like to encourage all of the sellers to identify the voice and also the community that we represent. So when we speak during the live streaming, it's important to be genuine and also to be expressive. At the end of the day, people purchase things in TikTok Shop because they believe in the founder, the host, the creator, beyond than just the products. So it's important to understand what are some of the community guidelines. So for TikTok community guidelines, we can always refer to tiktok.com to understand what are the things that we can say, what are the things that we cannot say in general. But as an e-commerce player, if you're selling products, there are certain rules that is applied to sellers, and this can be found on the Seller Academy. So one rule of thumb to remember, that we are there to represent our brand and to create a positive community and a positive communication. And to all of the sellers out there, it's important to be very consistent, very frequent, and to create an overall positive experience for the buyers. Try to study some of the policies and the community guidelines, and you should be good on your way.
All right, so the keyword there is consistency. Okay, we have about a few days left before we jump into 2024. So Azri, how do you foresee the e-commerce ecosystem in 2024, and considering the fast pace of technological development right now?
Understand. So definitely what I would suggest is for sellers to keep on updating themselves on the latest product advancement that we have. There's a lot of talk about AI in the market, and of course in terms of e-commerce, we do implement certain AI technology as well. So for example, if you're creating videos, you can always go to TikTok Creative Center. We do have this creative assistant that you can use certain keywords, and it helps to generate certain scripts, certain scenes that you can record. You can jump into the latest trending hashtag or trending songs in TikTok Creative Center as well. Now for e-commerce, if you go under product analytics, it does suggest to you what are the keywords that you should put in your listing, because it studies over the millions of listings out there, what works and what doesn't work for certain products. So it's important to do this research, and I think that this will be the ongoing trend to look after people's basically what works in the market, and recommend this to the sellers in terms of the listing and the content production side. And we will always prioritize what the buyers and the sellers want. So for example, in TikTok, we only recommend content that is relevant to a particular user. So if a buyer loves it, then the seller will get more engagement from it. So this type of analytics is made available to the seller to analyze themselves using our analytics tool when they are onboarded onto TikTok Shop, and we believe this can drive them 10 times ahead when they are able to read this analysis better.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nur Azri Abdul Aziz. That was a very insightful discussion. If I were planned to join the bandwagon, I'll definitely contact you, Azri. All right, that was Acquisition Lead TikTok Shop Malaysia, and you can find the full discussion on astro-awani.com and all of our digital platform. Thank you.
Siapakah keempat Most Wanted 2023? Anda yang akan menentukannya.
Layari www.gempakmostwantedawards.com sekarang untuk mengundi.
Keempat Most Wanted Awards terpaling trending.
Hello and welcome to Niaga Spotlight with me, Tamina Kauschi. Niaga Spotlight goes through the week in business and future affairs, market watch, industries, analysis and insights. We've got you covered right here on Niaga Spotlight. Well, this week on future affairs, it's Niaga Spotlight forecast for Malaysia's semiconductor industry in 2024. Now, with every aspect of the global economy being driven by technology, at the heart of this technological revolution is microchips. These tiny electronic components power our smartphones, computers, cars, and countless other devices we rely on daily. And as our reliance on technology continues to grow exponentially, the importance of microchips in the global economy becomes increasingly significant. Now, so Malaysia currently accounts for 13% of the global market for semiconductor packaging, assembly, and testing, and is aiming to boost that to 15% by 2030. A rising amount of investments in Malaysia relating to the semiconductor industry is extremely encouraging. Dr. Suri Wong Siu Hai, president with the Malaysia Semiconductor Industry Association, MSIA, joins me now to discuss opportunities for the Malaysian semiconductor industry in 2024 and beyond. Dr. Sri Wong, very good morning. Thank you so much for making time to join us on Niaga Spotlight.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
Dr. Sri Wong, if we could perhaps get started with you telling us a little bit more about the E&E industry landscape in Malaysia before we begin the discussion on semiconductors per se.
Yeah, okay, very good. As you know, the E&E industry started in 1972. At that time, it was a low-cost country, and most people came in to start off assembly tests, which is mainly in the assembly of semiconductors. But today, we are already 51 years old, and we have expanded from the assembly test manufacturing to beyond assembly test manufacturing, which includes LED, EMS, electronic manufacturing services, medical device, automotive, and so on. And at the same time, most of our Malaysian companies have gone into automation, supporting that industry. So that landscape have totally changed. And over the years, the E&E industry has always been doing state-of-the-art manufacturing and the latest technology in Malaysia, which is actually very good. Now, in 1972, the export of the E&E industry was at 230 million ringgit. Today, at last year in 2022, we exported 593 billion. That is a fantastic growth, something like a CAGR of 16.6%, which means that every 4 years we are doubling our export. So that's really significant. And on top of that, you know, the E&E industry employs about 600,000 people, contributing about 7% to GDP, and also have the average E&E wages is double the national average. And not only that, the productivity is also higher. So at the rate things are going, I call the E&E industry the golden goose of Malaysia, that we need to nurture and grow it.
Fantastically put. Thank you so much, Dr. Sri Wong. I really appreciate the fact that you've been able to really contextualize the growth and the trajectory of the industry all the way from, as you said, the 70s, and we're now 51 years old. So digging a little bit deeper, Dr. Sri Wong. Now, the World Semiconductor Trade Statistics, or WSTS, they're predicting a robust recovery in 2024 because what we actually saw was 2023 being a little bit of a negative year for the global semiconductor market. What factors, in your opinion, will actually be aiding in the semiconductor sector rebound in sales come next year, as we're, of course, at the end of 2023, looking towards the next year?
So let me just take a quick look at 2023. 2023, the data of our E&E export from January to October is about 484 billion ringgit. Okay, and that over that same period of time versus last year, we are negative 8%. For the global semiconductor, for the same period, they are showing a negative about 11 or 12%. So which means that our E&E industry is steady and quite resilient. And how is it happening is because of one of the reasons anyway, is because of the geopolitical tension, that a lot of manufacturing in China were moving out, and a lot of them chose Malaysia. And that's why we are a little more resilient compared to the other parts of the world. So that's the 2023. Now, let's look forward a little bit. The global semiconductor projection is growing from last year of $575 billion US dollars, is projected to grow to about 1 trillion by 2030. For Malaysia to keep up with that market share, or keep up with that pace, we need to export our products by 2030 about 1.2 trillion. So the opportunity is out there, okay, for us to grow from 2023 to 2030. So 2023 was a little softer year compared to 2022, but 2024, we expect it to slowly come back up may not be so fast. It depends how the world economy is. But now the world economy is projected to be about 2.9% for next year. So we don't expect that fast upturn, but we expect a gradual growth for 2024, driven mainly by AI, by cloud computing, automotive industry like EV, and so on. And also we expect a slow return of coming back of the consumer products like iPhone, 5G, and so on.
Very well put. Thank you very much for that, Dr. Wong. And I think it's so interesting that crucial will be the period of the next 5 to 7 years for us to be able to harness into that $1 trillion global market. Let me now go in from the fact that, of course, the WSTS stats are predicting an estimated growth of 11.8%, but I love that you also brought up AI. Let's move into the fact that, of course, NVIDIA has recently expressed willingness to support Malaysia's aspirations of being among top 20 countries for AI, helping develop AI ecosystem in Malaysia via building Center of Excellence, creating Malaysia's own AI cloud computing system, and also NVIDIA's strategic partnership with YTL conglomerate, which will potentially involve 20 billion ringgit investment. Now, zoning in a little bit closer from there, Dr. Sri Wong, would you mind elaborating on how all of this cascades into growth as well as expansion opportunities for the Malaysian semiconductor enterprises?
So as I explained earlier, the growth is not just going to be AI. Okay, and now you can see that last year to this year, lots of companies are already investing in Malaysia. There are so many announcements that we made. Now, Intel announced a 7.1 billion US dollars investment, AT&S 1.7 billion euro, Infineon 5 billion euro, TI 15 billion ringgit. So all these are putting in place capacity and positioning their companies for the future growth, driven by the things that I told you about. But for AI specifically, there is a big demand for AI. And of course, NVIDIA's chip is very popular. And so we will benefit from it as YTL invests in their cloud computing and so on, in AI data centers and so on. All that will create a good ecosystem for the use of AI. But AI need to be harnessed. A lot of people need to know how to apply AI in their work, in their business, and in their industry.
Absolutely. And I think you've really hit the nail on the head by talking about how do we harness it within already existing industries. So from there, and because you also mentioned, so clearly this is the golden goose for the Malaysian economy. Now let's talk about what would be an immediate concern regarding the fact that we require cultivating local talent, because this will be essential to be able to meet this increased demand for high value, high demand skilled workers in the E&E sector. Which type of workers in specific is the E&E sector really lacking at this point in time, Dr. Sri Wong?
So let me take you back a little bit. In the RMK 12, for the first time, RMK 12 highlighted E&E industry as one of the 8 high strategic, high value, high technology industry. All the past RMKs, we are all buried under manufacturing. So I think the government is showing the recognition that E&E industry is really important. But just now I said, all of the companies have announced investments, and there is a huge projection forecast of growth to 2030. And currently, we already have issues with lack of engineers in particular, or lack of talents, not just engineers, but also in other areas. So why is that so? So first of all, we have few problems. One is that the number of students studying science and engineering are dropping. Okay, so you can see the universities, number of students joining engineering, the numbers is dropping. 2 is that the percentage of our talent are going overseas. We estimated something like 15%. So there is a hole already because our people are leaving the country. So we can't stop it because they have their own aspiration. However, we need to fill up that hole. And on top of that, we also have issues with some percentage of engineers not meeting the industry's requirements, so to speak. And so, again, all that added up together shows that there's a shortage of talent. However, 2023, we did not really do a major hiring because of the softness of the economy, of the business, of the demand. Hiring is kind of slowed down for this year. But I expect the hiring will come back into next year, especially when we had shortage in 2022 when the demand was really high. So we need to prepare for the future growth and try to solve our talent issue. So how do we do it? Okay, so there are a few things that we are doing today to solve some of these issues. One is to get the unemployed engineers back to employment by giving them further training so that they can be hired by the industry. You know, they can go back for interview and the company says that now you meet my requirement. That's low-hanging fruit, we'll do it. But there are others that we need to do because other countries, especially our neighbor and the US and so on, are using other countries' talent. And they are very successful. They have no concerns about depriving their own citizens of jobs. In fact, they are flourishing and they are growing. And with the landscape that is projected to 2030, we need a similar strategy. We need to use other countries' talents, especially for students studying in Malaysia, foreign students studying in Malaysia, so that they can work here after they graduate. So other countries allow 2 to 3 years for them to work immediately after graduation if the company wants to hire them. Then after that, they can convert to the full employment permit. So we need similar strategy like this. Otherwise, the opportunity for us to grow in new technology, to grow into a state-of-the-art manufacturing and processes will be missed out. And on top of that, we want to go up the value chain into design and development. If you want to go into design and development, we need talent. We cannot lose projects to other countries when we have the capability to do so. And all we need is a few more engineers to come into the country to help us capture the project, win the project, and grow from there. And once we grow, there's no looking back. We are going to continue to grow. A simple example is that Intel started with about less than 100 engineers when they started a design center. Today, they have 4,000 to 6,000 of engineers in the company doing design work. And we expect similar stories like this as we go out in time, if we have the talent. So don't worry about depriving Malaysians of a job. In fact, we're going to create more jobs if we can get the talent in place.
Thank you so much for that, Sri Wong. I find it very interesting that you are able to really hone in on what are some actionable solutions, including giving foreign graduates who are from Malaysia the immediate availability for jobs. You also did mention the fact that on average, E&E industry salaries are about double than the national average. So speaking about the brain drain that we have already been seeing, any thoughts on how we could be attracting back some of our already qualified Malaysian engineers, but who are overseas, and sort of bring them back as part of this wave of growth towards 2030?
Now, this question is quite difficult. Talent Corp is trying to solve this program for a long time. You know, our disadvantage is the weakness of our ringgit. And if you start comparing wages, you know, if we earn 10,000 ringgit here and the other guy earn in Singapore 10,000 Sing or US 10,000, they're already earning a lot more than what our engineers would be earning. So if you think about wages, then I think it's a losing battle. However, there are many countries who have attracted their people back based on what the challenges are in the country. So if we have challenges that are compelling, that they want to contribute to the country's growth and make our country better, then there's a chance for them to come back. So in the past history, for example, in Taiwan, they brought back so many engineers from the US, even though the pay in Taiwan was lower than the US, but they came back. So we need to have a strategic and a strategy for the E&E industry whereby our technology will continue to grow, more state-of-the-art processes and products are coming into Malaysia that would excite our Malaysians and say that, wow, I can do the same thing in Malaysia. I don't need to go US. I don't need to be in other countries. I can do it here and have a good quality of life. I think Malaysians, I think they have a good quality of life relative to other countries. So I think that's the only angle we can do. If you start comparing wages, it's going to be extremely difficult. Of course, wages need to increase, but we can't compete at that kind of level.
It's about the whole package, clearly, right?
Yes.
And how aware, Dr. Sri Wong, is the government at this point in time, particularly, for example, the Human Resources Ministry, etc., about these shortages impacting the E&E industry?
I think they are aware, but however, since we have a new Minister of Human Resource, I hope to set up a meeting and explain further to him. You know, we also have a shortage of production workers, right? So we want to hire foreign workers, okay? But then when we all start discussing this problem, how do we motivate our Malaysian workers to join the factories, to join the E&E industry? We came up with this idea of academy in factory. We presented that idea to YB Rafizi. He likes it so much. And so he said, expand it to academy in industry. So it's not just academy in factory for the E&E industry. We piloted that. And now we go for all industry. It can be aerospace, it can be in the automotive industry and so on. So what is it all about? It is about attracting our school leavers to join the factory. Okay, for 18 months, they undergo a skill development program, plus 3 months of classroom. And at the end of the 18 months, they will be certified as a manufacturing technician if they are successful on the program. And so the government is encouraging everyone to take up this program, and it become a win-win. You know, win for the school leavers, because after 18 months there's a career in front of them. I can be a manufacturing technician. Win for the industry because I am attracting the for school leavers to join the factory, and I'm training technician that will meet my requirement. Because one of the problems that the factories is saying, companies are saying, is that we have technicians don't meet my requirement. So this one, you take care of it. And on top of that, we have a win for the government, because we are hopefully can reduce the need for foreign workers, because we are attracting our workers into the factory. So win all the way. And the government is giving incentive. You know, if the school leavers join this program, straight away the government will give the school leaver 1,500 ringgit. And after 9 months, if they stay on this program, they get another 1,500 ringgit. And at the end of 18 months, if they're successful, they get another 1,500 ringgit. So that is the support the government is giving. And we hope as many companies will embark on this program and help our Malaysian workers to upskill, and in return, they will help the company to be more productive. That's what we are looking for.
Sure. Thank you very much, Dr. Sri Wong. I think that helps to explain the framework and what has been achieved insofar. We take a quick break. We'll be back right after for the rest of this discussion on Malaysia's semiconductor industry prospects in 2024. Welcome back, still on Niaga Spotlight with me, Tamina Kausji, and of course speaking to Dr. Sri Wong Siu Hai today about Malaysia's semiconductor industry prospects in 2024. Dr. Sri Wong, let's now quickly go over the fact that also TVET training under Budget 2024 has been allocated incredible 6.8 billion ringgit. How could this allocation be optimally operationalized to meet the E&E industry's needs for recruitment, retaining, and also developing talent?
You know, one of the complaints actually from the industry is that a lot of our TVET graduates do not really meet the industry standards or industry requirement. So the expectation, I guess, is that the TVET had formed a council and they got industry involved, and they are trying to see how to revamp or transform the TVET education in the country. So one of the things that, since so much money is allocated, one of the things that we are looking at is to review the curriculum, review the how well the TVET centers are equipped, that will give good training to the students who are studying in TVET. So one of the things that they got to look at will be looking at the curriculum and enhance it, and two, looking at the equipment, whereby how do we get them more involved in automation, Industry 4.0, software, equip that with proper equipment, whereby they can get proper hands-on experience. And then, the TVET also is working with the industry to get hands-on experience as well, so that by the time they come out, they get both. They also get education and experience that, or at least some level of experience that they are being exposed to the industry. So these are some of the things that need to be done now. In order for our TVET to reach a higher standard, we need some sort of accreditation, or working with some very successful models, in maybe overseas in Germany or elsewhere, or Belgium or somewhere, that they have this good model that they can use. So we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We just need to collaborate and use some of these approaches that these countries have used for their own TVET education. So hopefully we can get instructors from foreign who can train the trainer, so that our instructors are at a level whereby they can impart the kind of knowledge and skills that are required for the industry. So that, I hope can be carried out.
Fantastic. Now, speaking of collaborations, let's talk about, Dr. Sri Wong, the supply chain resilience. For the semiconductor industry, this will definitely require closer collaboration within and between companies. Some perspectives, if you may, on how this can be accelerated via digitalization, Industry 4.0, and also looking at what were some valuable lessons learned during pandemic lockdowns, which honestly can also apply for 2024, especially looking at the current increase in COVID cases that we are seeing, not just in Malaysia, but globally.
During the COVID-19 pandemic and during the movement control, MCO, the companies all came together to set up the PICAS, the vaccination center. A lot of the companies volunteered their premise for vaccination. And we started off with 3 companies to start off with the vaccination center within their premises, and they also open up to all the neighboring companies within that company, around that company. So that collaboration happened, and that's why we could speed up the vaccination for the factories as soon as possible during that time. So all that was taken place, and the support and collaboration and the cooperation was very well done. So I think we can do that the same way, even for the supply chain. One of the key things is that we got to develop our Malaysian SMEs in order for them to support the growth of our companies. So that again, the companies come together to see how can we give our Malaysian company a chance. So our Malaysia Semiconductor Industry Association encourage what I call buy local. So that when you buy local, there's a waterfall effect, that I buy from this company is getting suppliers from a tier 2, and tier 2 will get it from a tier 3. So everybody have a chance to grow. And if the company buys local, the company also will help the companies to go global, because some of the companies here have global operations. And if companies in Malaysia, like the MNCs, large local companies, buy our products from Malaysian companies, then they can also use it in their factories overseas. Then our factories can go global, so to speak. So that will be a good step, in the collaboration and some of the learnings that we had during the COVID.
Absolutely. And also, of course, that directly relates to helping with some price controls for key materials within the industry. Dr. Sri Wong, moving in from there into, of course, the big and very popular catchphrase of late, ESG. Now, semiconductor manufacturers, of course, have energy-intensive operations, which are now actively exploring solutions to decarbonize the sector. Could you share a little bit more with us about ESG initiatives that have been happening over 2023? Also, Bursa has, of course, introduced mandatory ESG reporting platforms for PLCs earlier this month. All of this connected to the wider framework of Malaysia's semiconductor industry.
the world is going on ESG. I think you cannot run away from it. And in fact, we encourage every company to embrace ESG. Learn about it, find out about it, and have a plan to implement the ESG program. So recently, MSIA held a conference whereby we educate our members and the public on what is ESG, what are the best known methods of implementation of ESG, what are the green financing that you can get to implement ESG, to share with the larger community. Okay, so in the first step, I guess, is that after you understand, you got to implement. And for the larger companies like MNCs and large local companies and so on, they are already on the process of implementation. So the first step, I guess, is to do the lowest hanging fruit, which is install your solar panels in the car park, in the building, and so on. And then look at the energy efficiency and how do you manage your energy and convert, some of the areas where high energy is used, can you reduce it? For example, if street lights, you're using halogen, which is very expensive. Can you use a lot of energy? Can you convert it to LEDs and the factories? What else can you do to help to lower the usage of energy? So that is I would say, the first step. And also, I think the government has also passed an act on energy efficiency and conservation, where they expect companies to implement all these improvements that are within their control, so to speak. Then the next step, I guess, is to create renewable energy that companies can sign up to. Or like this year, I think about 800 megawatts have been generated through the solar farm, and many companies have already signed up for it. I think it's already finished in terms of companies signing up. And then over the next few years, they will generate what we call gigawatts of energy, renewable energy, where more companies can sign up on. So the BUSA requirement for reporting actually will create greater awareness for companies to evaluate themselves. Where am I in this journey? Where are my gaps? What should I do? And who can I approach for help? And so on and so on. So I think that is a good way of monitoring yourself and make it transparent that you are embarking on this journey, and whatever gaps can be taken care of and should be taken care of.
Absolutely. And starting with that energy transition journey first and foremost, and also, of course, to follow along even Taiwan, the world's largest semiconductor manufacturer, which has already pledged in Feb this year to reduce carbon emissions despite the potential implications. Dr. Sri Wong, from there, let's go and focus in on the recent surge in E&E investment, FDI. How can it contribute to moving Malaysian semiconductor players higher up in the semiconductor value chain, especially looking at design and development and global business services?
Okay, I think the government has done a good job in attracting FDIs into the country to strengthen our ecosystem. We brought in substrate manufacturing, we brought in fab equipment manufacturing, and many other ecosystem that we need. Okay, at the same time, these companies attracted their suppliers to invest in Malaysia. Okay, so now we are, as you know, we are quite strong in the assembly test world, and we are quite strong in attracting FDIs. So our approach, I think, is that we double down on what we are good at. Whatever we are good at today, whether it's automation, whether it's assembly tests, whether we are attracting FDIs to the country, continue doing. We don't want to stop. And we encourage, government agencies like MIDA, we have done a good job, MITI, to continue doing this. However, we need to go up the value chain. We are already 51 years in the industry. And, other countries would have already overtaken us in development of their local industry. And for the likes of, China, who started only 20 years ago, and they are already ahead of us. So the focus that we need to have is go up the value chain. So how are we going up the value chain? There are two paths. One is to attract the FDI. So in the areas of design development, we are attracting many foreign companies to do design development, especially in IC design. They are here, okay, and they are using our talent to develop their capability and serve the company. And two is that we need to develop in parallel local capabilities. How do we develop local capabilities in the country? And so again, we want to encourage more companies in Malaysia, Malaysian companies, to join in this opportunity to create, a platform or create a ecosystem where Malaysians can be involved in IC design and also go up the value chain in design, in other design development, such as embedded system design. We also encourage the government to look at the fab. How can we attract a fab? Because over the next few years, there are about 90 to 100 fabs in the country, 190 fabs around the world that will be implemented. So we just need to attract one of them to come to Malaysia. Okay, so that's the, I hope that can be achieved.
Shouldn't be too tough given all the interest in Malaysia lately.
It is very tough. It is very tough. It's not easy. But we want to get one because that will be the sweetest honey that you can attract all the other bees to come once we attract one. Yeah.
One first. And casting the net a little bit wider, how can the Asian semiconductor industry then cushion against the more anticipated graver impacts of the US CHIPS Act in 2024?
I guess the CHIPS Act have two parts. One is to attract more of their homegrown or their technology back into the country in the US, and the other part was the restriction on we call it on restriction on export or import and development of technology to protect their national security. Okay, so as you know, because there are a lot of restrictions in place on China, so a lot of the MNCs in China are moving the products out of China, and more restrictions are coming into place. So we hope Malaysia will have that opportunity for these companies to invest in Malaysia or move their products to Malaysia. So you have China plus one strategy. You also have a US plus one strategy. You also have a Europe plus one strategy. And you also have a Taiwan plus one strategy. Hopefully all that plus one, they are looking at Malaysia. I think they are currently right now.
And one more area that is wrong. India, also touted to be the world's second largest economy by 2075, also seeking to build its own semiconductor industry, including via tie-ups with Malaysian semiconductor players. Any MSIA insights or perhaps like a wish list concerning this?
You know, MSIA means so many countries who are interested in the future growth. They want to take a piece of that pie I just explained to you. If the semiconductor industry is going to grow to 1 trillion by 2030, everybody is looking at an opportunity. Can I take a piece of that pie? Okay, so that's why I said Malaysia cannot be complacent. We have to compete and win more and win for the higher value ones. So, we have so many countries. India is one of them. And, they are putting, I guess, resources to attract more semiconductor companies to invest in India. I think Micron have made that announcement, and they are looking for many more. So are other countries. You have Vietnam, you have Europe, and so you have also in Central America. They are all working on the same thing. So I hope Malaysia will also step up and compete, at the global level. And we can compete because we have already 51 years of experience. We know exactly what the market wants. We know exactly what the customer wants, and we know how to strengthen our ecosystem. So when all that come together, including a stable government and a business-friendly government, we will have a very good chance to win this game.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for your time, Dr. Sri Wong. Those sound like plenty of absolute advantages that Malaysia actually has in our favor when it comes to the semiconductor industry, especially looking towards 2024. Thank you once again for taking time to join us on Niaga Spotlight.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's all we have time for today. This has been Niaga Spotlight with me, Tamina Kausji.